Hey there and welcome. Thanks for joining me. If this is your first time to my channel, I hope you consider subscribing and don't forget to click on that bell button so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. And if you enjoy this tutorial, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and share with friends and family. So today we're going to be making two different farmhouse wood signs. The first one, what you're going to need are 3 of these love signs. Go ahead and remove the heart that comes with your love signs, the little tin hearts. Grab a piece of sandpaper and sand that area down because they did have excess glue from where it was the heart was attached to your sign. Once you've done that, go ahead and flip them over, and what we're going to do is run a string of hot glue on the sides of your sign and just basically glue all your 3 signs together. Once you've done that, go ahead and grab some popsicle sticks, and we're going to use wood glue, but if you don't have wood glue, you can use E6000 or even your hot glue. Just hopefully you won't make a big mess like I am with my wood glue. For some reason it was just coming out all weird, so I made a huge mess. But go ahead and add some some wood glue to your popsicle sticks. And then after I did 2 of these popsicle sticks, I decided to go ahead and add some hot glue to the ends of my popsicle sticks. So I picked them back up and added some hot glue just for video purposes because I wanted it to dry or be secure and tight a lot faster in order for me to complete the project. But you don't necessarily have to put the wood glue. Just go ahead and put, your hot glue. Just put your wood glue and allow it to dry for at least a good 30 minutes, and you'll be nice and safe in order for you to move it around. But again, for video purposes, I put some hot glue. But go ahead and flip it over once you've done that. Remove the little ribbon that it comes with for it to hang, and then go ahead and paint them the color of your choice. I'm going to go ahead and decided to paint mine white. Now I made 2 of these signs the same day, and I already made 1 tutorial using the same basically 3 wood signs as well, with picture frames in them. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll go ahead and link it somewhere around here so you can watch that one after you've watched this one. So go ahead and paint your 3 wood signs together. Again, the color of your choice. I decided to paint mine white, and you can give it just 1 coat or 2 coats. That's basically up to you. I just gave mine 1 coat. Now you're going to go ahead and get one of these, I want to call them the backsplash decals that they have at Dollar Tree. And I was really excited when I saw this one. It has a rooster on it. So immediately I knew what I wanted to do with it. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and remove the border of this decal because I know I want to use that for another DIY. So if you want to do it the same way, go ahead and remove the border. And I'm just folding it back up and putting it right back in the same bag it came with. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and start removing, cutting out the rooster. And what I did was basically use some scissors just to kind of trim it out and cut as much as possible, as close as possible to the rooster. That way I wouldn't have to do the double work. But in some of the smaller areas, what I decided to do was use my X-Acto knife or box cutter and just go ahead and edge it out. And it actually wasn't very hard to do. It did take a little bit of time just because I wanted to get as close as possible to my rooster. So I did take my time to cut that out. So I'll show you how I did that. Just basically cut as close as possible to the rooster. And then I just simply went ahead and got my little board or anything and just started cutting out all that extra pieces that didn't belong to the rooster. And as you can tell, it's pretty easy to do. It just took a little bit of time. So just go ahead and cut all the extra pieces out from the rooster and remove them little by little, just taking your time as you go and doing the feet as well. And if you don't have an X-Acto knife, you can do this with a little knife or even some thinner, smaller scissors. You would be able to do it as well. So once you've cut out your rooster as close as possible and you're happy with the way it looks, go ahead and figure out where you want to place it on your boards, and see the line where it came is in between the rooster. What I wanted to do was put that on one of the lines of my board to make it look like it would belong there. So I just kind of eyeballed that and make sure that those lines were matching, and that's how I decided where I wanted to place my rooster. Go ahead and remove the backing from your decal rooster or sticker. And what I did was just remove half of it, flipped it over, placed it where I wanted to place it at, and then just start rubbing it down with my hand. Now you can also get, say, a little card that you don't use anymore, or something that to rub it off of the paper, but I just used my hands and just basically rubbed everything down to make sure there was no air pockets. So just rub it as much as you can. Again, just to make sure there was no air pockets, to make sure it's exactly where you want it. And once you've done that, go ahead and get some Modge Podge. Now, if you want it to look the way I have it, get some matte Modge Podge. Don't get the shiny gloss kind. And then go ahead and just paint over your rooster. And basically, I painted over all my board just so it can give an even coat. But you don't necessarily have to do that. You can just paint over your rooster, just making sure that you paint over the edges, because that's going to help it secure the rooster onto your board as well as make the design that you want. So once it's completely dry, you can see how it looks matted. And what I did was grab a piece of my sand block from Dollar Tree as well, and just lightly sanded it down. And you can see I wanted some of that matted color to come through, as well as the rooster itself, just to make it look a little bit older. If that makes sense, you can see where that Modge Podge is still on the rooster, kind of forming those lines. So once I was done with that, I went ahead and got this Waverly chalk paint in Truffle color. And a little bit goes a long way for this project. So just go ahead and get a brush, and then I edged the color, that paint, the Modge Podge paint, the Waverly chalk paint onto the edges of my sign, just to give it more of that old rustic look. In some parts it's darker, some parts it's lighter, but that's just the whole point. That's the way I wanted it to look. You can even do this, you don't have to use brown, you can use black, red, even maybe a light gray would look cute or pretty with this, the rooster colors. So just go ahead and use whatever color you want to edge it out. And then as you can tell, I'm kind of trying to take off as much as possible of the paint from my brush, just so I can give it a light brush throughout my entire sign, just so that brown undertone can look seep through all the sign itself. And there you have it, and that's basically preference. Now I thought it was a little bit too dark, so what I did was I grabbed my wet towel again and just wiped it off, since that paint was still drying. And this is the way it looks. So what I did was just basically grab some jute twine and thread it through the openings of my sign themselves, tied a knot in the back, add a little bit of hot glue, and that is what I'm going to use to hang my sign. Pretty simple, huh? This one's even easier. So basically you can get a love sign, or I'm using an old Halloween beware sign. That's the wood ones that they had. So just go ahead and grab whichever piece of wood sign that you want to use. And I'm painting mine gray, and this is from Apple Barrel, and I believe it's the pewter gray. So just go ahead and give it a light brush of that paint or whatever color you choose. Now I'm going to use this decal that says blessed that I've been saving because I didn't know what I wanted to use it for. So I decided to go ahead and make a sign to use this. I'm going to place mine over a mirror. So just go ahead and remove the decal from the paper that it comes on, and then just go ahead and rub it the same way we did the rooster onto your sign. So once I was done with that, I went ahead and got the same truffle color in Waverly chalk paint, and I decided to brush it on the edges of this sign as well, just to see how it looked. I had never brushed brown onto the gray. I usually, when I paint anything gray, I do a black or a white edging, but I wanted to see how the brown looked, and I like it. I think it looks pretty nice. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about the brown with the gray? So just brush it on as dark as you'd like. And once you're satisfied with the way it looks and how much you've painted on, just go ahead and again grab your little sand block or sandpaper if you don't have a sand block, and then just go ahead and give it a light sanding. And this is just to give it more of that weathered old look. So this is completely optional. Once you're done with that, go ahead and flip it over, and then I'm just going to add 2 strands of jute twine in the center of my sign in order for me to hang it. Now the way I did it was I added some hot glue, and then I double knotted my jute twine and just basically glued it onto my sign. And I did that to both sides. Remove any of the extra jute twine that you have in the back. Allow your glue to dry. And if you don't feel comfortable using hot glue on the strings themselves that you're going to hang your sign up with, go ahead and add some E6000. But this piece of wood is pretty light, so I decided to go ahead and use just the hot glue. Now I'm going to make another ribbon rose. Basically, you fold it twice, then you fold the ribbon in half, fold that twice, and then you start folding your ribbon away from you, and then you twist it around. Fold and then hold it. And then every so often you just add a little bit of hot glue just so it can stay in place. Pinch it wherever you added your hot glue for a few seconds, and then just continue folding away from you and then pinching it together. And you can do as much or as little as you like of a ribbon in order to make the rose. Once you're happy with the size of rose that you have, go ahead and flip it over and add some glue to the back. Remove any extra ribbon that you may have. Then just fold back that extra piece that you cut off, just to make sure that it looks nice and even in the front. And just hold it in place to allow that glue to stick. And there's your rose. Now what I decided to do was go ahead and add it to the center of my decal where the actual flowers are at themselves. I just covered those flowers up with the real rose, or a ribbon rose, I guess you could say. So just go ahead and add their rose wherever you like, and this is the way this sign looks. So what do you guys think? Which one is your favorite? Will you put these two together or separate them? Let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, you guys stay blessed. Bye.